Hello, everybody. Jonathan Pola here with West Coast Weather. Today is March 16th, and it is a beautiful day out there with blue and sunny skies for almost the entire West Coast, other than maybe parts of Southern California as a little upper level low brings some showers and isolated thunderstorms down there. But you can see why in the summertime when we get these big ridges, they call them heat domes, because it's basically this giant bubble or dome that's over the entire region. It allows the air to warm and the dry out. It sometimes brings these east winds down the Cascades, which also additionally dries out the air and warms it up due to the compressional warming. But we're going to be in this pattern in the next 4 days with beautiful weather. Today and Sunday are going to be the warmest over the West Coast, with temperatures in the 70s, in 60s and 70s over much of Western Washington and Oregon and Southwest BC. And also California is going to be potentially getting into the 80s in some locations on Sunday, potentially on Monday as well. So definitely a very warm pattern coming up. I haven't done a video in a while. I had finals last week, so it's been pretty busy for me, and I haven't found time to make a video until now. But it is spring break now, so I'll be able to do more videos more consistently over the next couple of weeks. So definitely make sure to check out this page every couple of days or so to see if there's a new video that's been posted. And if everybody just likes and enjoys these videos, just please hit the like button, subscribe buttons down below. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers, which is the first milestone to get to monetization on this channel. So it's very much appreciated, and I appreciate everybody that watches these videos and makes this all possible. And it just adds a little extra enjoyment to see all the likes and stuff, to see that y'all are enjoying all these videos and such. So without further ado, let's get right into the forecast. Now we're looking at the general ridge and trough positions on the European model. And before we go into the forecast, you can see that I've made the cursor size a lot bigger. This will allow you guys to see what I'm actually pointing at. I had to find a setting to figure that out, but I spent a couple of minutes and I was able to figure it out, so you guys will be able to see what I'm pointing at better than in the previous videos. So now looking at the European model, we can see this really large ridge of high pressure that's building over British Columbia. This will continue to strengthen as we go through later tonight, and then this will start weakening and move south over the Pacific Northwest Monday and Tuesday for slightly cooler temperatures, but still it's going to be some very beautiful weather out there with very little clouds, maybe some morning fog for parts of the coast and the interior locations of Western Washington, Western Oregon, and especially those mountain valleys will have some fog over the next couple of days as some of that moisture gets trapped in those valleys. But as we play this through, you can see really this big ridge start retrograding over British Columbia. And this is kind of being caused by this storm system over in the southwestern Gulf of Alaska. This is kind of pushing down, and it's resulting in this ridge kind of really building way up high into the latitudes, all the way up into the Yukon and northern territories of Canada. And you can see this kind of weaken, flatten out as this kind of a bit of energy from that storm system over the Gulf of Alaska kind of goes over the ridge and kind of flattens out. But this is going to keep the warm, nice weather continuing in the Monday and Tuesday before finally look at this little bit of troughing that's trying to make its way into the Pacific Northwest on Wednesday. This will start bringing some light rain as a weak frontal system moves through. If we take a look at the later in the week, you can see this kind of trough kind of moves out of British Columbia and kind of combines with this low that's been kind of hanging over the Gulf of Alaska, and this will bring some rain and additional systems, and it has the potential to bring a rather strong system in the California as we go through later this and next weekend. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. And there's also going to be some wind potential, especially on the coastlines with this pattern. And now if we go and look at the GFS, we can see that it's very similar with the ridge in the short term, but as we get towards Wednesday, you can see the troughing and is kind of a bit different. It keeps a bit of a weak ridge over the region. This will still allow some light precipitation in the area, but wouldn't be as wet and impactful as the European model. And then it finally brings that trough over the west coast and then enters even more storm system after that, while the European model brings another ridge in behind that. So definitely a lot of variability over the past the 7-day range, which is very usual for models to have those discrepancies that far out. But now looking at 6-hour precipitation totals in inches, this is basically giving us a good idea of when we can expect precipitation to return. But still, for the time being, get out there and enjoy the sun and go and do all those outdoor activities / chores. You can see all the precipitation is going well far north of us as that ridge just completely bubbles us in with all this dry and warm air. But you can see this weak system starts forming and kind of moves into the Pacific Northwest later on Wednesday, maybe late Wednesday morning for parts of the coastline and parts of Western Washington and Southwest BC. Will bring some light to moderate snow amounts to parts of the Cascades as well. But then you can see this kind of an atmospheric river sort of setup, not looking like a strong atmospheric river, but this kind of brings some decent precipitation totals from Western Washington all the way down into California. May bring a decent snowstorm to the Sierra Nevada. So definitely very beneficial this time of the year, is because we start decreasing the amount of precipitation we get this time of the year, and we really want to build up as much snowpack and get rid of as much drought as possible before we go into our dry summer seasons, and especially late spring as well. Now taking a closer look at the Pacific Northwest, here's Southwest BC up here. Here's Vancouver Island. I'm talking about Vancouver, BC, and then you can see as we go through the max temperatures on the National Blended Models for Saturday today, you can see afternoon highs getting into the 60s and the low 70s potentially. If SeaTac gets to 70 degrees, that's potentially a record high temperature. I haven't double checked that, so do not quote me on that. But I know Quilly yesterday shattered their record temperature yesterday. They got 72 degrees, and I'm pretty sure their record high for March 15th was about 62 degrees. So they really shattered that record. And you can see the Willamette Valley is getting really warm as well. Temperatures in the low 70s, maybe in some mid 70s in some of those Southern Valley locations. As we go on Sunday, very similar temperatures. Maybe temperatures cool a few degrees on Whidbey Island, the San Juans, as a little bit of westerly breeze starts moving in to that part of Washington State. And I'll show you a quicker look at that here in a second. But as we go through Monday and Tuesday, you can see temperatures still maybe decreasing a few degrees for most locations, but still remaining in the 60s. But this is when Eastern Washington and Oregon start really showing their bright colors on the map, with low to middle 70s possible as well. So it's going to be a very warm time period for the Pacific Northwest before high temperatures start crashing as we go through Wednesday and Thursday, as that frontal system moves in, dropping high temperatures into the 50s and 40s for Western Washington and Oregon, and also dropping them down into the 60s for Eastern Washington. Now looking at the 2-meter temperatures on the HRRR model, this is kind of a higher resolution look at things. As we go through around 4 to 5 p.m., which is about the warmest time of the day here in this time of the year, you can see some temperatures potentially even getting into the middle 70s for parts of the eastern Puget Sound lowlands and maybe parts of the Willamette Valley. I'm not sure if it's going to get that warm. The HRRR sometimes overdoes these temperatures, but with some heat island effects near the Seattle and Portland metro areas, I wouldn't be totally surprised with temperatures of this warmness. And then you can see, let me show you what the temperatures do on Sunday with that westerly breeze coming down the strait. You can see that temperatures kind of go all the way down into the high temperatures in the 50s for some of those areas on Whidbey Island and the San Juans and Fidalgo and Camano as well. But it's still going to be a very beautiful day out there, and it's that those type of temperatures are going to continue in the Monday and Tuesday with the very sunny weather. Now looking at the 80-meter wind speeds, you can see these offshore winds kind of causing that compressional warming and keeping this dry air and this warm temperatures in Western Washington and Western Oregon, Southwest BC. But as we go through later on Sunday, you can see a little bit of an onshore component comes down the strait along the Fuca, and this is going to allow for some of that cooler marine air to get into the Whidbey Island area, also Port Angeles, anywhere along the strait along the Fuca, and this will even reach the Puget Sound as we go through later Sunday night, cooling temperatures off in the evening if they're too warm for you. Now, like in the National Blended Models, we're going down to California now, and this is for high temperatures on Sunday. You see some of these temperatures potentially getting in the 80s on the National Blended Models, and this is a kind of an average of a bunch of different models, so the temperatures could definitely be a bit higher than what this model is showing. But you can see up near Redding and north of Sacramento, some upper 70s, possible maybe even low 80s. Also going to be plenty of 70s all over the state, except in the mountains and maybe along the immediate coastline where those waters kind of cool the temperatures. But you can see the desert typically hotter down there. And now those temperatures will also continue in the next couple days. But now looking at the HRRR, we can have a better high resolution look at this. You can also see very similar temperatures with middle to upper 70s possible. There's a low chance of some 80s possible as well, but maybe around only 30 to 50% chance in some areas. And you can see those overnight lows into the 40s before on Sunday. That was Saturday actually. And on Sunday, the HRRR even has even warmer temperatures with low 80s north of about the Sacramento area, just north of Sacramento, with 70s for almost the entire valley, 60s on the coastline, and that will continue into Monday and Tuesday, as well as that ridge of high pressure remains over the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast. Now, looking at the composite reflectivity, or what the radar may look like, there's going to be some showers later today and tomorrow for parts of southeastern California, in the parts of Nevada, Las Vegas, the Phoenix area, as this cutoff low kind of sends some showers and isolated thunderstorm activity over Southern California over the next couple days. But that's should not bring much other than some rain in the afternoon and evenings, especially with that daytime heating. Now, looking at a nice graphic from the National Weather Service of Seattle, also happy St. Patty's Day weekend, and this is a look at the high temperatures. This is actually from the National Weather Service of Spokane. Sorry about that. And this is for some high temperatures for the weekend for parts of eastern Washington. You can see Chelan potentially getting to the low 70s on Sunday. Also Moses Lake and Omak potentially getting into the upper 70s. Mostly 60s for much of eastern Washington, but some isolated locations will get into the 70s. There's also going to be some sneaker wave potential on the Washington and Oregon coastlines into the northern California coastline. And this is a graph from the National Weather Service of Portland. And you can see this is a threat from yesterday through later today. So just be careful out there on those beaches, as some of the waves will run higher than normal, and they could sweep you off your feet if you're not careful. You can see high temperature forecast for today, plenty of 70s for much of the interior California valleys, potentially getting in the upper 70s and low 80s tomorrow and Monday. And now looking at the National Weather Service at Hanford, California, they actually have a probability of maximum temperatures of 80 degrees or higher. And you can see that the highest chance of 80s is going to be Monday afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon as well. But there is potential for some of those Northern Valley locations on Sunday to get into the 80s as well. Hanford, California is about in some of the southern central valleys. So you can see that on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, some of the best places to get 80 degree temperatures is Hanford, Fresno, Delano, and Lemoore, if I'm saying those names correctly, but some other locations have about 10 to 20% chance of some 80s. Now, look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the National Weather Service Climate Prediction Center. This is valid from March 21st through the 25th. And you can see the West Coast potentially getting a bit below average as some of those storm systems start moving into the West Coast, but not really looking at anything really cold at this time. Just a cooler pattern with rain chances and some breezy, the gusty winds on the coastlines potentially. The 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook also highlights those systems moving with the entire lower 48 and potentially above average precipitation totals. So definitely some active weather as we go through later in the March. You can see the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. They're also highlighting more chances for below average temperatures, as some troughing potentially remains over the west coast and most of the interior mountain west as well. But there's still plenty of time to look at this. And also the 8 to 14 day temperature precipitation outlook. This is valid for March 23rd through the 29th. And you can see above average precipitation potentially for the entire United States as storm systems continue to move through the country. So definitely plenty of active weather to look at as we go through later next week and into the weeks after that as well. Well, that's it for this video, everybody. I hope everybody found this video enjoyable and informative. Just please go out there and enjoy the sun while we have it. Maybe go outside, relax in the sun, have a nice drink, or maybe you want to get some gardening / some chores done. But whatever you do, just please go out there and enjoy the sun for at least some sort of amount of time, as this will quickly change as we go through later next week when we have the pattern change coming in around Wednesday to Thursday timeframe. I'll likely have another video out within the next few days talking about that pattern change in a closer depth, but just go out there and enjoy the sun right now and have a wonderful rest of your weekend, everybody.